Welcome to Financial Revelations. I am your host, David Safransky. It is May 12th, 2021, and we're going to talk about the economics of May 12th, 2021. But first, I want to give a shout out to Barbara P. Not going to say her last name. She's recovering right now from a little condition that she had. Things are getting better, I hope, Barbara. I know you watch when we put the podcast out, so we have been praying for your speedy recovery. We need your wit, humor, and expertise, so don't let us down. So the economics of the economics of May 12th, 2021. The markets are down. It's been so far what I would call not a great month, and we have these months. I don't want to overreact to them. I tend to not be an emotional investor whatsoever. However, I do get pretty excited when you have great companies on really bad news. And we got some of that going on right now, and we're going to talk about it. But I want to talk about why the markets are down right now. And there's several good reasons the markets are down. I'm going to keep this video a little bit shorter because I think people like a shorter video. And you probably get enough of me relatively quickly. So, number one, if there were alarm bells or warning lights or screaming sirens at the Federal Reserve, they're going off right now, today. 4.2% CPI, Consumer Price Index, printed this morning. The goal is generally around 2%. Now, the Fed has come out and said, well, we're going to, if inflation runs a little hot for a while, we're going to be okay with that. We're going to let inflation run, and we're not going to change our posture on rates. And that may be true. However, everybody else around the Fed, they don't think that way. And so right now, here's what we have, prices rising. We have housing prices rising like crazy. A friend of ours just down the street from the lake level here, they're building a house. Their builder came to them and said, hey, by the way, that house that you were going to build, the exact same house, no difference, no bigger, no smaller, same colors, everything, 25% more for the same house from a year ago. So they're waiting. Lumber is way up. We have shortages from Canada. Canada is really offline still, and we get a lot of lumber from Canada, so it is really hurting lumber prices. Fuel, I'm going to go over more on this in a minute, but fuel is getting very expensive. I saw a video of a guy, somebody was about to rob him, and he sprayed gas. It was at a gas station. He's filling up, and he took the gas hose out and sprayed the robbers. And I thought, probably a year ago, that incident would have cost him like $15, but that little spray probably cost him $28 right now because of the increase in fuel prices. But he did not get robbed. Food is up. Auto prices are up. All rising prices, all in major categories. Used cars are up. New cars are up. Everything is up. And some of it has to do with the pandemic because there are shortages like in lumber, some of it in cars. Some of it has to do with the microchip shortage, all because of COVID. So these things probably will work themselves out in the relatively near future, 2-3 months. But it is rising prices for sure. And that is going to cause inflation. The Fed is going to be worried about this. And I'm sure Jerome Powell, they call him Chair Powell when they ask him a question. His name is Chairman Powell. But the press, in their infinite ability to shorten everything up, they'll say, Chair Powell, and ask him a question. So I'm going to call him Chair Powell from now on. We have a crisis at the border, which is causing a lot of consternation. But we're going to go over that on another time, probably the next video. We have people being paid not to work. Now, a lot of people, they needed the unemployment in the midst of this pandemic. On Wednesday, we got a number of the available jobs in the United States is 8.1 million. We expected around 7 million jobs to be open, but we got 8.1 million jobs open right now to be filled. We can't fill them. Part of the reason is if you're making $800 a week on unemployment plus the $300 kicker from the federal government, and in your job you make $1,000 or $1,200 a week, it's really hard to entice somebody to go back to work for $100 less or $100 more. When you think of the commute time, getting ready, now you'd have to take a shower, for heaven's sakes, if you were going to go to work. Well, you should take a shower. I don't know if you did in the past, but please do. So it's hard to entice people to go back to work when they're not going to make that much more or more money sitting at home. And this is just human nature. This isn't a comment on anybody in particular. I wouldn't go back to work for that. So this is very inflationary because we're putting a lot of money in the system, but we're not increasing any productivity. So productivity is falling, money's increasing. This is very, very inflationary, and it's very, very troubling also. We also have the pipeline shutdown. Now, the Colonial Pipeline, it's not a publicly traded pipeline. It's not even really, it's owned by a conglomerate of different providers. Ohio, where we are, is going to be fine because we have two refineries relatively close, Canton and Lima. We're going to be fine here, but the real problem is in the Northeast. They do have gas stations with no gas there. They have gas lines. They're limiting the amount of gas you could put in your car right now, and prices are skyrocketing there. I saw online just yesterday somebody put in a little bit too much gas in their car. There was a fist fight at the pump. It's troubling. Now, remember, day one of President Biden's presidency, he shut down the Keystone Pipeline. It was under construction. We probably wouldn't have had oil flowing in it right now, but to have these pipelines is really critical because to move product, it's not like you can just build a refinery someplace. So refineries are usually pretty remote locations. You got to move that product. Right now, it's either truck or rail. Probably the pipeline is the safest way to move oil products, gas products of any kind, and it's the fastest. You don't have to worry about train crossings, flat tires, anything like that. It just flows. Well, right now, the Colonial Pipeline software got hacked. The hacker shut down the pipeline. About 45% of the Northeast of the country is supplied by the Colonial Pipeline. We're in trouble there. Also inflationary. I want to say, how good does that decision look to cancel the Keystone Pipeline now? That was an environmental decision, really as bait thrown to environmentalists, and it's actually pretty clean. The pipelines are clean. Really, in my opinion, I'm going to go a little bit political on you here, but this could be the worst beginning of a presidency probably since Jimmy Carter. In fact, Jimmy's probably resting pretty comfortably tonight, knowing that he's going to be unseated as one of the worst starts of a presidency. Now, a lot could turn around. A lot could change. We could have some of these shortages, especially with the microchip shortage and the lumber shortage, get absorbed when the vaccine gets more widely distributed in other countries. Right now, we are except for a few small countries, we're the preeminent user of the vaccine. We're doing about 2.2 million a day, which is a great number to have. And it will make a difference. We're starting to see airline travel ramp up again. Pretty soon, cruise ships will be sailing again. I do think it's odd that the CDC still wants you to act like you're unvaccinated if you are vaccinated, but that's their guidance. Whether you follow it or not is up to you. So as we go through these next couple of weeks and probably next couple of months, we're going to get a really good idea on where inflation is. And what's going to happen is, if inflation is real, if the prices don't come down when the lumber markets open up, and if the prices don't come down when the microchips for automobiles start flowing again, then we're going to have to change some things in portfolios, because in inflation, some of these tech trades that we love, and I still love them, they don't work so good. And so the footing of a portfolio will look a little bit different. We'll probably have to bring our growth projections down a little bit. But I want you to know we have our eyes on it. And if you have a question, if you have a comment, if you're concerned about something, you could email us at joshua@epsf.com. joshua@epsf.com. Or you can call us at 1-800-344-2534. 1-800-344-2534. And I think in the past I haven't really gotten political with you guys, but I think you probably know where I stand. I think we're going to have to drag a little bit more politic into this because it does play a really important role in our finances. On top of all of this, we still have a $2.1 trillion infrastructure bill hanging out there. It's being negotiated right now with tax increases, all inflationary. So we'll probably be talking a little bit more about politics in the future as it relates to our finances. I want to prepare you for that. Thanks for listening. Barbara, get better soon. I look forward to talking to you. This is Financial Revelations, and I am David Safransky.